Hey there everyone, it's Brendan here and welcome back to the Crypto Analyst channel and to another cryptocurrency market update. And I'll tell you what, there was a lot that happened in the great world of cryptocurrency this week, and we're going to be breaking it all down in today's market update. So this is going to be things like the largest merger in crypto history, like we're just seeing now between FET, AGIX, and Ocean Protocol. But we're also going to be taking a look at BlackRock's new BUIDL fund that is targeting tokenization and is actually growing at an astonishing rate. We also have Dogwifhat becoming the third largest meme coin. We have the FTX founder, Sam Bankman Fried, getting sentenced to 25 years in prison. And then, of course, we have Bitcoin squeezing up against all-time highs as it is getting ready to make a major move. So if that does interest you, and if you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening in the great world of crypto, all that we ask is that you consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you really like the content that we make, and you want to get more plugged into the space, you can also join us at Altcoin Alert and CryptNation as well, because we got some cool links in the description down below. So let's kick things off with Bitcoin first before we get into all the news. Bitcoin squeezing at all-time highs up here, and I'll tell you what, I'm really liking the charts over here on Bitcoin. So we're just looking at the daily chart. I'm going to turn off my little logo here, my little watermark, so that we can see things just a little bit more clearly. But as we kind of look at the Bitcoin chart here, you can see that all-time highs are not that far away. Right around $74,000, we have these all-time highs. And Bitcoin is recovering off of this dip. We can actually see it using this really nice support line as it is seeing just a climbing level of support with a pretty stable level of resistance up here around 70K recently. So when we came up to 70K, roughly 73, 74K, this is where we topped out. We dipped all the way back down about 15% or so, back down to around $60,000. And now you can see that we are back above the 20-day moving average. This will be our fifth candle close if this closes up here above the 20-day moving average. Now, why is this significant? Well, because this is an area that has historically acted as a pretty solid area of support. We saw that on the uptrend after we broke this, we tested the 20 as support, and then we used it again as support, came kind of close to this area, used it again, and then it broke, turned into a slight resistance, but now we can see that we're back on track using it as a support area again. So we have a climbing level of support pushing us into this main resistance, which is currently all-time highs. And I'm kind of looking at this saying, hey, holistically, Bitcoin looks pretty solid. If we look at what's happened previously after these pullbacks where Bitcoin had previously tested the 20-day moving average as a consistent support line over here, well, this is an example of, hey, we pulled back, we went briefly below it, and then the moment that we hooked back above this 20-day moving average after the previous pullback was the moment that Bitcoin shot to the upside and to new yearly highs. So again, just doing a little bit of technical and historical analysis over here. I do think that the pressure is kind of squeezing up towards the long term. Now, obviously, for all the intraday people out there, there's going to be some volatility in the crypto markets. I mean, heck, we could even come back down here and test these lows one more time if we really wanted to gather the buyers. But holistically speaking, the way that Bitcoin has reacted off of support and off of the lows here, I'm liking it. The crypto markets are looking pretty solid in my opinion. And I think that as we move into like the mid and long-term views, it looks like all-time highs are looking, fairly inevitable. So we will see with time coming. But in another piece of news, I guess kind of switching things up from Bitcoin into the altcoin market, we have this massive merger between FET, AGIX, and Ocean. Now, if you're not sure who these projects are, these are essentially, and maybe even arguably, the three leaders of the decentralized AI space, So when you think about artificial intelligence in the world of cryptocurrency and blockchain tech, usually three names come to mind, and it's FET, AGIX, and Ocean. They've all been around for a fairly long time. They all are fairly reputable, and they are some of the largest market cap AI projects in the space. So they're some of the most well-known. And what we're seeing here is that these three are merging into a singular new token called the ASI token, which I believe stands for like artificial superintelligence. And the way that this is going to work out is that this is actually going to merge their technology and their minds and their market caps as well into this new token. So depending on which tokens you own, you're going to be getting a swap at some point in the future, but it looks like this is happening. I think everything is just about finalized, and the market seems to be reacting actually really well to this news. Because if we go over here and we look at some of these AI tokens, that's been on a pretty nice tear since this was announced. Same thing with Ocean, same thing with AGIX. They're all, just going on these nice little runs to the upside, with Ocean and FET actually breaking out to new highs, and AGIX is really not far from it either. So when we're looking at all these charts, the community seems to be really excited about it. But the main reason as to why they wanted to merge these is because they said that they wanted to compete against big tech and their dominance in artificial intelligence. And so even though all three of these projects kind of work in different subsectors of AI, I believe their thought process here is, hey, if we combined our resources and our minds and our talent and our skill sets, then we can actually rival the big AI companies, like OpenAI, like Google, like Microsoft. And that's something that they kind of talk about in this article as well. So it looks like when this is all said and done, they're going to be valued around, and I've seen different numbers here, but roughly between $5 to $7.5 billion, which would make them pretty much the largest AI project that crypto has, which is going to be a big milestone. And I know that, at least for myself in the past, I've kind of looked at this and said, hey, when I want to get exposure to the AI space, do I want to buy FET? Do I want to buy AGIX? Do I want to buy Ocean? And now that's not going to really be a conversation anymore, because now I can just buy one token and get exposed to what all three of these subsectors are doing inside the new ASI token. So I think this is pretty cool. It seems like it's been pretty well received, and the community is all for it. So if you're a fan of the AI space, then this is going to be one of those things for you to kind of look into. Now, what's happening with BlackRock's BUIDL fund? Well, if you're not familiar, BlackRock essentially announced that they are going to be having this new fund that targets the tokenization of real-world assets space, one that has absolutely blown up in the last week, especially since they announced this. So from my understanding, this was originally going to be like a $100 million fund, and what we're seeing now is that this is now up. They've raked in $245 million within a week of this thing launching, and guess what? They're expecting more to happen. We can see that one of BlackRock's BUIDL analysts noted that he thinks that this is poised to reach $1 billion very soon, which means that it has another 4x to the upside for it to get there. So he still thinks that this thing can do hundreds of % in the near-term future. He still thinks that we can see a 4x out of this fund. And I think that holistically, this is really good for the entire RWA and tokenization space. Now, who are the notable players here? Well, one of the big things that we saw is Ondo Finance's $95 million transfer helping bolster BUIDL's growth. And so people are saying, hey, how in the world can I get exposure to this tokenization and RWA space? Can I join BlackRock's funds? Are there RWA projects? And Ondo is just one of these projects. But if you go and you look at all the different ones that are out there, whether it's Centrifuge doing really well lately, Goldfinch, Ondo, like we mentioned, Maple, the list goes on. There's all these different projects. And for the most part, the RWA and tokenization space has been doing really, really solid. And so this kind of just continues on that theme of hey, traditional finance is really excited about this stuff. All the decentralizing crypto people are really excited about this stuff. And all eyes are kind of on this space. So if this isn't one that you've looked into so far, I think it could be, at the very least, looking into, because if BlackRock's interested and Bank of America and Citigroup and all these other people, then, maybe it's something that we should be paying attention to as well. But on a lighthearted note, we have Dogwifhat becoming the third largest meme coin as Bitcoin is squeezing to the upside. Now, what does this mean? Well, that means that Dogwifhat is up there with the big players that we all know, that we're all familiar with. Things like Dogecoin, things like Shiba Inu and Pepe Coin, and now Dogwifhat is kind of solidified itself, as a major player in the meme space. Now, meme coins have been going wild lately. If you have not seen what's happening over there, meme coins, especially on Solana and on the base layer 2, they're going insane. People are calling this a meme market, quote unquote. And while meme coins aren't traditionally my most favorite thing, not something that I like to trade a whole lot of, they're going insane. And there's a lot of attention around the space. And this is a big moment because now we have Dogwifhat, dethroning a lot of the meme coins that we previously knew, and it is working its way up to be a major player over here. So something to just kind of keep your eye out on. I thought it was a little bit of a funny article. I'm sure that there's a lot of listeners out there going, what in the world is a dog with a hat? And essentially it's just this new meme coin that has been taking over. Now, in our final bit of news, we have finally come to a conclusion on the Sam Bankman-Fried case. And for those of you who maybe don't know or need a reminder, Sam Bankman-Fried is the founder of FTX, the wildly large crypto exchange that went under. It caused a lot of collateral damage, a lot of hurt in the crypto markets. There was billions of dollars lost in customer assets, and it was quite the disaster a couple of years ago. And so what we've seen here is that Sam Bankman-Fried was just sentenced to 25 years for all of the FTX fraud. So this is wild. Some people thought that he was going to get less. I think a lot of people thought he was going to get life in prison. He's fairly young. I believe he's like 25 to 30 years old-ish. So it looks like he'll be probably getting out by the time he's maybe like 50, 60 years old. But nonetheless, we finally have a conclusion to this. People have been speculating on what is going to happen, and I'm sure that there's going to be some mixed reviews about it. But, we can rest assured knowing that justice was served. But that's going to pretty much wrap us up in today's video, everyone. I hope all of you did enjoy, and I hope everyone is capitalizing on the great bull market that we're having here across the board. There's just so many things happening and so many different spaces to take advantage of, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or the RWA and tokenization space, the base layer 2 space, artificial intelligence, meme coins. It feels like everywhere you look, there is just success happening in the markets right now. So that's going to wrap us up. Again, if you like the content that we make, all that we ask is that you consider hitting that like and subscribe button, maybe checking out some of the links in the description down below, getting plugged into some of our premium communities, and that'll be it. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see all of you in next week's video.